So we're just going to jump on in here to Romanticide for match number 1. This player spawning in the bottom right. It's our Red Terran playing for Team Envy. This is Bunny.
And his opponents in the top left side, it's the Shopify Rebellion, the Wild Man in the blue Terran units. He's inside of the blue Terran units. It is BYUN.
He's inside of all of them?
He's inside of all of them.
Look, that's so many. There's so many BYUNs.
That's right.
I'm impressed. Like, I mean, good for him. He's been working really hard, and to be able to divide yourself across, what, 18 different units right now? Very proud of him.
As you should be.
Yeah, we're getting a nice variety, just to double back a little bit. Trying to be clear all the way through here. This is our Group B Code S qualifier here. So also, we are only bringing you mostly day one coverage. We have a couple of special games at the very end that we wanted to show you because a couple players made it into Code A with some very, very good runs. I think one of the players that we wanted to follow a little bit was 4GG, kind of making a resurgence here as of late. So we're going to get a chance to catch his games. But we are only bringing you day one coverage. So somebody asked in the chat if Parting was out of Code S. Not necessarily. He had an opportunity to play in day 2. I will try to reserve spoilers because spoilers are super sad. But if you would like to be spoiled, there is a bracket at the top of the chat. It's a Liquipedia link that'll take you out to the results for all of the day 1 and day 2 qualifiers. If you want to spoil yourself and learn whether your favorite player has been able to advance, you can see it there. But we are going to reserve that for your eyes only. If you would like to remain spoiler-free, Kozan and I got you covered here.
That's right. You know, I try to keep myself a little bit spoiler-free as well. So, but it's always difficult when you're, looking through the Liquipedias and stuff. But yeah. Managed to be okay. Managed to be quite successful. It's always more fun, right? Not knowing the exact outcome of what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's true. It provides a lot more excitement. I mean, that's like definitely the draw of those live events and being able to like be in person to cheer your favorite team player on and watch your favorite pro players duke it out for guts, glory, and a little bit of prize money. Speaking of duking it out here, Bunny's going to be coming in here. I almost called him Bunny. I'm so mad at myself. This is a pretty vicious hold here for BYUN. He's able to get this Cyclone out to deal a ton of damage. All of those Hellions get picked off, and a couple of the Reapers are just going to walk back home with their tail between their legs. Bunny's definitely not happy with that engagement.
Yeah, and probably was hoping that there would be a couple more SCVs there ready to be picked off, but BYUN, very often you see him go for the quick Cyclone. He's very good with the micro overall with those units, so it makes a lot of sense for him to quickly grab those, and he'll be safe against pretty much anything, right? Any medevac drop, he'll do okay against Hellion pushes, all the Cyclone pushes. He's going to be okay against pretty much all the stuff. Banshees, Ravens, bring it, right?
Wait, are you telling me that BYUN's good with micro? I've never heard that before. No
crazy.
Way.
It's crazy. I know.
BYUN's
always makes it work.
Oh, he's going to put that micro on display here, though, Kozan. He's coming in with a fair number of Marines. He's going to put those Cyclones to work as well. But there is going to be a tank and a Cyclone of Bunnies. BYUN's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to be able to get more extended damage here. But that tank sieging up on the ramp should be able to shove this back and away, even with that impeccable micro.
Yeah, quite nicely getting himself out of harm's way there, picking up with that medevac. And we'll just move back across the street, back to the other part of Romanticide. Probably heal up those Cyclones, grab himself a third base. Bunny a little bit earlier at the third base, but it's not on a location, so probably gonna tie up there overall on a fair economy for both these players.
Yeah, I think it's kind of winding itself up to be a normal-ish looking game. Bunny's got his third base just about done here. We'll be getting that orbital going. BYUN's building his on site, feeling very confident that he can be able to hold that position without having to worry about the incoming aggression. And BYUN, in pure BYUN format, just coming across the map once again. He turned around. Why did he turn around? What would have... Okay, he just... A little bit of indecision there for a moment. He is going to get Stimpack rocking and rolling back at home, but Bunny already sees that that is on the way. And it's a pretty decent scan as well. He's not going to see any units in the main base of BYUN, so that's got to be an indicator that there's going to be something coming out. And that being said, Bunny is going to posture here. He's going to get set up at that third base location. There is a nice little siege position still available if BYUN wants to take it behind the mineral wall. It's not as valuable as it would be against, per se, like a Zerg player who is going to have a majority of melee units that can't get across those mineral walls. Marines obviously can shoot over them, but still a punishing position if BYUN is able to get into that spot. But he's just going to play a little bit patient right now as he gets more units across the map.
Yeah, and BYUN kind of just containing his opponent for the time. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to get siege tanks in a better position. You can try to kind of grab the mineral area you were talking about, or you can go onto the natural base as well. You don't even have to push straight up that ramp. You could just put some siege tanks near those mineral lines as well, and then start dropping stuff into the natural base. But he's just going to go straight for it. Here we have all the other turrets in the world being utilized, but a little bit quicker from BYUN. Will it matter? Are these other turrets from Bunny? It looks like they're just a little bit less successful overall, but he does clean up with his reinforcements in the end.
Bunny had that defender's advantage, and he kept hanging on to it as well. And those auto turrets did go very, very well in his favor and kind of shut down the entire push, but both players not really reacting too viscerally to it. Getting up to their 66 worker count here. Third base fully saturated. Bunny already in position to try and start posturing to that fourth base location. He drops the supply depot just to be certain that there isn't going to be a big drop coming on the bottom side of the map. So it's mostly for scouting purposes. But it will be able to allow him the opportunity to kind of post up if he wants to take that fourth base location on the south side. BYUN is going to see that Marine is going to be my hero if it can take out that supply depot, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
2 Marines coming along. 2 versus 1. Easy.
Oh, you don't even have to be good at math to know that was not going to go in BYUN's favor.
Exactly. You just have to have the smallest of grasps on the subject of math.
Wouldn't that be wild if BYUN somehow found a way to win a 1v2? Like, of all the players that could do it, I feel like it'd be him.
Yeah. It just gets under your skin somehow, and he gets you to just regularly right-click instead of a move.
We have to remember that all of these Marines are BYUN. Like,
That's
all
true.
of these units, it's crazy. I love it.
It's like with basketball, how you have those ankle breaker moves, right? He can make you miss micro. Because his micro is so good, he's gonna make you miss micro.
We're gonna find out that there's like a 0.001% chance that you can get your opponent to miss their attack, and BYUN has figured out the super hotkey code. It's like fighting games where you just see them go for the specific input, and suddenly it's like, wait, what's happening? Of all the players, like I said, BYUN would be the one that would do it.
I thought you were going to say there's like a 0.10%, well, what was it? 0.01% chance that he's going to break his ankles. He's going to somehow find a way to break Bunny's ankles while they're playing StarCraft 2.
Oh, well, I think they probably have a larger mutual respect for each other than that. So hopefully that's not going to be the case. But man, that would just be brutal if that actually did happen. Bunny's thinking about a drop here at the natural. This is starting to... Okay, I think this is actually going to transpire now. Scan goes forward to see where that army's positioned at. He's going to be able to get onto the high ground. He's got the tanks. Can he get him seized in time? I don't think... Oh, he might be able to. I think he did.
Yeah, gets the siege tank. Just needs to make sure his siege tanks now survive against these other marines. Oh, I think he pulled his other marines a little bit too far backwards, but he's still getting some stuff, right? Forced BYUN to trade, and now he's getting a ton of SCVs here. He's pushing in with another army on the right side, and that seems to be getting a lot of SCVs as well. Siege tanks are here now, ready to defend, but marines do get on top of those. Get some more value, and that third base is going to have to be forcefully removed from the area. It might, yeah, it's going to go down. That is going to go down.
I kind of thought he was going to be repairing it for just a moment, but instead, no, it's going to be 16 workers and a base that goes down. BYUN going to push on forward to try and mitigate a little bit of the damage off of these tanks, but it is just going to be more and more death and destruction. Actually, a nice little wraparound here by BYUN, getting on both sides of Bunny. It's a loss of a base, but it's the loss of the entire army of Bunny here. I don't know how I feel. BYUN's already got an extra base down here, but operating on a slightly lower economic advantage here is going to be rough. If we look at that income advantage graph, Bunny takes a very quick lead, but will he be able to hold on to it?
Well, it is TVT. I mean, we saw how quick things can go with drops like that. To be fair, BYUN only has 2 medeffects, so kind of stuck to the ground for the time being. And it looks like the way he is approaching is going to be met with quite a bit of resistance here. 4 siege tanks already sieged up, a 5th one on the way. More marines of Bunny ready to force that third base to be cancelled once again.
And there's really no positioning out across the map for BYUN. The protection here at the third base location is pretty spot on for Bunny. He's got all of the sensor towers he could ever want. So the sneak attack or the positioning here is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. But there's kind of that punishing position behind the mineral wall for BYUN. I won't be surprised to see Bunny maybe try to knock it down even just a little bit, but it might also not be worth the trouble, especially when you want to keep everything rolling with your economy. Corvid Reactor is going to be researched here along with the remainder of his bio upgrades, plus 3 infantry finishing up here very soon for Bunny. That will be a powerful moment. He'll have a couple of minutes where his Marines are going to hit a lot harder than BYUN's, but once again, it's a matter of whether or not he can make it count here. The positioning is going to be rough for Bunny as BYUN's able to hold the center of the map. But destroying those rocks is going to open a lot of new opportunities for BYUN to get collapsed upon.
And, I mean, BYUN's been getting in aggressive positions here, but they haven't really been able to pressure anything either, right? Like, it may put Bunny in an awkward position where he's not feeling confident in pushing out anywhere. But that's about it. That's about it. That's all that BYUN has been able to do so far. Although, to be fair, they have matched up in armies again. The worker supply is around similar, and you know what? They do have the same amount of bases. BYUN just has to fly over one of those orbitals if he wants to. Be up 1 command center right now. Just for a moment, since Bunny is making 4 at a time at the moment as well.
Just a handful. Just a handful of those bases. I think that top base is going to eventually get picked off here. BYUN coming in with a pretty sizable Marine force. He's going to stem that forward. Yeah, that should get canceled immediately. But that will pull the army out of position as well. Oh, Bunny does see it. The big scan forward here. BYUN's going to try and run on in. A few tanks will be able to soften up a bit of this army, but it's going to come at the cost of another base. That's 2 bases killed off here for not that much on the side of BYUN. And look at this punishing position. Yes, there are plenty of Vikings and Ravens here to help deal with this, but there's no good way to get on top of this. It's going to force a cancel here on the left side of the map. It's a lot of trading back and forth, but Bunny is going to have to cancel 3 bases to BYUN's 1. That's certainly not the trade you want.
Yeah, that is a rough one. Bunny is coming in with a bit of a force of his own. Will be met with a planetary fortress on that location, though. And BYUN still just having to lift up his own, his own 3rd base right now. So not mining from there. And BYUN has maneuvered himself in a wonderful way, just turning this game upside down again and getting himself suddenly in the advantage with economy here.
Oh, yeah, it's that beautiful micro we were talking about here, and now Bunny's going to try and capitalize on the opportunity. He comes in with the forces on the backside, but doesn't find the wraparound that he necessarily was looking for, but does take out a few of those tanks. Bunny is able to reclaim his third base, but look at this, more units coming across the map. BYUN is really not taking the economic damage that Bunny has, and slowly but surely has wrestled back this income advantage from his opponent. Bunny now is going to try and push out to the center of the map, but it's already BYUN out on the opposite side here, and this could be a bit of an interesting situation here. The tanks are going to get sieged up, but some immediate Raven spells that get casted out. All of those tanks are going to go down. BYUN has to back off. Half of his army is completely anti-armored.
Yeah, Bunny perhaps a little bit too too jumpy, trying to finish off those anti-armored Marines with his own Marines. I did walk into a couple of siege things there. Again, kind of taking a punishment, but trying to maneuver back now. So BYUN, in his own way, staying in this because of those kind of traits as well. Going into his favor.
Gonna pick off that sensor tower. That's a nice little grab here, just to keep his opponent on his toes. This is not a planetary fortress just yet, so this command center should be lifted off in a way, but I don't know that there's going to be any way to save this. BYUN looks like he's going to try and just go for the counterattack out across the map, but this is a very scary situation here. All of these workers are going to be pulled off of the line immediately. It's two orbital commands that aren't going to be able to get a lot done, and another giant anti-armor missile on a majority of this army. This is continued pressure here by BYUN that is going to be mitigated to some degree. Bunny is maxed out. He is in a great position. He's going to be able to hold this defense. Look at those beautiful interference matrices going down on these tanks, limiting the amount of damage that's being done, and it's going to be a giant drop into the main Kozan. I think BYUN is slowly losing his grip in this game.
Yeah, there does seem to be a bit of a supply advantage now coming up for Bunny here. And there it is. GG is called, just as you said, Bunny.
With all of these games unfolding, it's interesting to think of the makeup of Code, because obviously Code S takes 4 players from the previous season automatically qualified. So that should be what? Should be Trap, Maru, Zoun, and who's number 4? Oh, Rogue. Rogue, of course.
Rogue, yeah.
just the winner of season 1. No big deal.
Nobody, yeah. Just another one of those players.
So we've got Rogue. Solar is already qualified in space there. And we'll see 3 more. The winner of this series will be number 6, and then we'll have 2 others. But then we have 8 players. No. How many players do we have that make it into Code A? I think it's 12. I think 12 seems correct.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see, 12. Yeah, that should be okay, because then you have the 4 groups of 4.
Well, they don't. Do they play the group play like that? I don't believe they do, because I believe it's a walkthrough of. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, 4.
I may have misunderstood that.
12, 16. It is 16. Okay.
All right.
Then. My brain. Yeah, so they don't do traditional group stages for the Code A playing. It's like little brackets. They've got like groups, like 3 groups of 2 on a couple of the days, 2 groups of 2, and then they're just best of 5s, and the winners go on to Code S. So it keeps the format a little bit more interesting and definitely a lot quicker. The group play is nice because it gets us a lot of variety on games, and it gives more opportunities for players to prepare for multiple matchups. But with the Code A play, it's one and done. You win in advance or you lose, and you sulk about it for a season.
Yeah, true. It's just one of those rough spots where you don't really want to be in. Although, be it, there is a lot more opportunities now for these players as well, right? There's more online events happening. More and more of them are participating in those as well. There's certain places like Into the Clan and stuff like that. The Barcraft, I believe the other one is called, right? Well, anyway, there's a couple of Korean spaces right now organizing events for a bit more of a steady income.
Bunny gets the scout of the century here. BYUN was coming across the map with a quick little drop, but is able to see with the cyclone and actually deals a lot of damage to that medevac. The medevac below 50% health. Bunny does go back home, so there's no aggression for BYUN's side of the map, but being able to spot that initial aggression there, Kozan, was huge.
Yeah, that's always very nice, of course, just being able to nip that in the butt before it actually comes around. And so far, both these players is remarkably similar in build, huh? It's truly something. Seeing, I guess there's one gas missing for BYUN, so maybe he's gonna. Yeah, there it is. There's a quicker third CC. So he will try to grab himself that slight advantage in that remark. But maybe with the bigger army here for Bunny that he should be accumulating then, he might be able to start pressuring that third base to stop it from dropping down where it wants to.
Well, it's BYUN that always wants to be super aggressive out on the map, and if you're the player that's playing with lots less army supply, it's you lose a lot of your positional advantage because your opponent's not only going to have defender's advantage, but they're just going to have more stuff to hit you with. And Bunny is able to do just that. He's getting more of those tanks out. He does start his stim pack upgrade, so that is going to be done just a tiny bit before BYUN, says BYUN also starts his stim pack upgrade as well. But to be fair, Bunny is not too far behind on his third base expansion as well. So really, the positional advantages are going to be rather low here. Good sacrifice of the Reaper to get rid of that mine. That should always be a trade that you want to make as a Terran player. And this is kind of getting a bit interesting. Both players trying to feel out their positioning. BYUN's going to lose these units for almost nothing. No. There we go. Yeah, it ends up being just little trades here and there. Bunny taking a small advantage on the trades, but looks like both players wanting to move out. I think Bunny is going to be the one that gets to the center of the map here pretty quickly.
All right, both of them going for a lot of auto turrets here. No siege tanks trying to siege up, just single target fire. No time to waste. And Bunny does manage to get out on top here with BYUN on the run. Let's see if he manages to make anything out of this situation now. He's in an aggressive spot, wants to try and get himself to a place where he can actually put some pressure onto some of the economy of BYUN. Would be very nice if he had some medevacs here.
Oh, I mean, this is a brutal location here for Bunny to siege up onto, because this ramp is now going to be completely covered. He does take two of those tanks and rotates them around to get a little bit better positioning on the incoming forces of BYUN. But this is kind of rough. The third base location here on the high side is still okay, so both Terran players are going to take that forward third, and that's not going to be too big of an issue to try and fight into. Bunny's not going to overstay his welcome, though. He's just going to reposition and try and rotate around to actually be able to put pressure onto that third base location. He hasn't seen it, but you can just make a lot of inferences, and now should be able to confirm, yeah, that's in fact on site. But BYUN's already rotated. And if you're Bunny, I mean, what do you do right now? You don't want to try and push in too far, but it does look like he is going to try and posture out on the opposite side. Gets a good tank positioning here before that scan goes down so he can kill off a little bit, but I think BYUN's going to have enough to be able to hold, at least for right now. Oof,
just a little bit slow with that interference matrix, wasn't it? And then getting the back end of that siege tank engagement, but air dominance does allow him to return the favor. Now trying to really force this third CC into the ground. That's a lot of Vikings actually. Where is the response out of BYUN? It's not here. That's for sure. All his Marines and his own Vikings in the main base still were not able to actually stop this from happening.
I mean, this is a wild response here by BYUN. There's no response, and this is not what we're used to seeing. I was a little surprised that orbital command was able to be picked off, but now taking away that third base, BYUN is just going to kind of slide away from being able to get more of that economic advantage here. He's going to try and do a little bit of a drop into the main base, picking off 4 workers. That's a fair amount, but I mean, he needs a lot more damage than that if he's going to secure himself back into this game.
Yeah. I think you're pretty done on the money there. It's going to have to do a lot more. And it's going to have to involve his siege tanks just being in a better position overall. Such a positional game here. It's very difficult to do with the air dominance in Bunny's favor, though. 7 Vikings versus 1. He's starting to add in Liberators now, and that is going to absolutely supercharge basically the importance of the air dominance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Bunny is just going to continue building on that lead here. What does he have for Viking count? He's got 7 Viking. I mean, there's 1 Viking now for BYUN. But the Liberator is going to create a lot of problems here for BYUN. In fact, yeah, this space is going to be completely exposed. This Liberator could get a lot of valuable damage done. He's going to scan forward to see what's actually here, and that will be allowed to siege up. That whole army is going to have to come back home. So here's another mineral line that's just not accessible at this point. And he's going to pick it up and leave with it. Bunny with great harassment here. 2-2 on the way for both of our players. It's actually 2-1 for Bunny. Bunny sacrificing a little bit of the infantry armor advantage. He's going to scan forward and see that there's no 4th base location, so Bunny's got to be feeling mostly okay here. His 4th base is just about done as well. If you're BYUN, what do you have to do to get re-secured in this game? You talked about his tank positioning, Kozan. Does he need to do more?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, I mean, the tank positioning would be nice if he managed to get some sort of a denial in these spaces. He's doing a great job, right? He's got some marine pack clubs here and there on both of these sides. He's trying to figure out if there's a 4th base coming. All that thought, that's a big fight right in the middle. Alright, okay. Not really going into anyone's particular favor. Kind of think staying around a similar level there. But, yeah, these marine patches, right, they're going to be able to stop a 4th base from going down easily. He's going to be able to ensure that he has that quicker lead in his own 4th base. And now as well, we'll just try to commit here into the mineral lines and try and tie up the worker count overall a little bit on that. Well, in that way, in that fashion.
One Marine is going to make this a challenging reposition, but it's buying BYUN a decent amount of time here. Units are going to have to be pulled over to that 4th base location, and in fact, BYUN is just going to go straight up challenge it here. Giant stim with the army here. He wants to try and catch a few of these workers out of position, but most importantly, he wants that command center gone. And it seems like it's going to be very, very close, but I don't think he's going to be able to pop that off. It was pulled away just in the last second, so that should be able to be repaired. I don't think BYUN's going to get as lucky, though. Tanks are going to be able to siege up. There is no escape for these workers. 18 go down. The Vikings should be able to deal enough damage to this orbital command. Bunny is just showing BYUN how it's done.
Yeah, it's kind of the name of the game with TVT sometimes, right? If your opponent's already sieged up, don't waste your units just trying to send, you know, into those siege tank positions. Just try to find a better position somewhere else, and that usually is going to be up somewhere in your opponent's face. On the opposite side of the map, here we go, now the attack, finding the backside of the offensive of BYUN, and in complete surrounding has to tap out.